I have this political update I want to talk about this morning. I repeat, I have this political update I want to talk about this morning. Somebody says, Jonathan ready to run again. Close ally confirms. Nigeria's former president, Goodluck Jonathan, will be one of the leading candidates to confront Incumbent President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 presidential poll. A close ally of the Bayelsa-born politician confirmed to Vanguard. Now, Vanguard newspaper says, Jonathan ready to run again. Close ally confirms. Like I said, one of the candidates that will get support from northern Nigeria, huge support from northern Nigeria, is Jonathan. If Jonathan is in the race, naturally, northern Nigeria will support him. They don't need any campaign. They know that he is going to be doing one term, 4 years, like he's restricted to do 4 years, and they are sure of Jonathan. So if we can confirm that Jonathan will be on the ballot, the coalition, mind you, coalition can only beat President Bola Tinubu. Anything other than coalition, just forget about it. Only coalition. If Jonathan is on the coalition, man, it is going to be a great one. The battle is going to be tougher. I believe northern Nigeria, they trust a Jonathan much more than Obi. I tell you. The reason is why you see northern Nigeria pandering to Obi, wanting to align with Obi, is because of Obi's followership, the obedient movement, his clout in the southern part of Nigeria. That is why. But naturally, northern Nigeria would not want to give Obi any ticket. Naturally. All things being equal. But because Peter Obi has a leverage, how many votes did they give to him in northern Nigeria? Is it not 2 million votes? In southern Nigeria, I got 4 million votes. Atiku and Tinubu, they got their highest votes in northern Nigeria. So they know that a Peter Obi has a clout, a following, a huge following, which they need to tap into. Like I said before, northern Nigeria needs southern Nigeria to win elections. Go and ask Buhari. The same thing, southern Nigeria needs northern Nigeria to win elections. Go and ask Tinubu, because Tinubu got over 5.3 million votes from the northern part of Nigeria, and he got 8 million. If Tinubu had relied only on southern Nigeria, I don't think that Tinubu will be standing as president of the Federal Republic today. So, many people are happy Jonathan will be running. See, if Jonathan becomes the candidate of the coalition, South would naturally, when we say naturally, you don't really need campaign. People will campaign themselves. People will carry themselves and campaign. Southeast, they will not even look twice. Anything APC, Southeast voters doesn't want to hear APC. Anything APC. And most importantly, Bola Tinubu. Anything they don't hear. You cannot sway Southeast voters like that. These guys are rigid for a purpose. They are rigid. When they hear Jonathan, they might dump a P2B, and the votes may be divided. Christian votes may be divided. Even the obedient movement may be divided when Jonathan is on the ring. I believe Atiku may trust a Jonathan than a Peter Obi. The one that even will be shocking everybody most is Northern Nigeria. Everybody, APC, both NNPPO, both PDPO, everybody, both the coalition will support a Jonathan candidacy. Because Jonathan will remind Tinubu and co. of the things they did to him when he was president. How Tinubu lied. So many, see, all these APC guys on digital media, what have you, would not. Like, it would take them a long time for them to re-strategize themselves to start attacking Jonathan. Because I believe their job is to attack the opposition, make sure the opposition, they are weaker. Change the perception of the opposition, make people see reasons why they should not vote the opposition. What is going on with P2B now? Before they switch to a Jonathan, it will be, man, it's going to be hard for them. There's another school of thought. But before we look at that school of thought, somebody says Nigeria may break before 2027. Modo, former Minister of Information. Nigeria may break before 2027. on this platform, I've said it, that Tinubu may be Nigeria's last president. Because what I'm seeing, the lawlessness I'm seeing, the desperation for power, the bigotry, the nepotism, the division, the animosity amongst ourselves has gotten to another level with what I'm seeing. So I'm not the only one that saw it. Many other prominent persons have seen it. Nigeria may break up before 2027 if. Let's look at what Nwodo said about that. He is warning. Nwodo advocated for the devolution of powers to the region, resource control by subnational government, and the implementation of fiscal federalism. He warned that failure to implement these reforms could trigger a constitutional crisis. Nigeria must restructure and give its component units sovereignty over their natural resources, provided they pay royalties or taxes to the federal government to fund responsibilities such as external defense, foreign missions, customs, and immigrations. That's how true democracy will emerge and development will accelerate. Restructuring. He further cautioned that if restructuring is not achieved before the 2027 elections, some regions may boycott the polls or reject the results, pushing the nation into further instability. If it does not happen, we will have no alternative but to go our separate ways, he says. Now, when people are having these kind of conversations, when politicians, there are some politicians from the north and the southwest that are having these conversations that will not come on social media to say it. They are seeing the signs. We love what is going on with the Ronu and the bigotry that is going on. It's going to drive us to a point whereby we will be asking ourselves questions. Why are we staying together? Why can't we restructure this country? Like I told you, politicians of this day, today, our politicians today, they have nothing to give to the people. They thrive on propaganda to get to power. I've challenged the APC if they can conduct a free and fair election, because I don't think APC is desiring to conduct anything called free and fair election. I challenge the APC if they can conduct a free and fair election. Let me see if they will win. Let them do campaign. Let them not play all those politics of somebody close to Peter Obi says, if you know how many schools want to invite Peter Obi, but they cannot invite Peter Obi because of they are afraid of the government. The government is placing so much like restriction. Look at what happened in Edo State, what happened in Benue State. If APC stop those kind of politics of trying to gag the opposition, let opposition flow, project and tell the people what you have done, campaign with what you have done, APC will flop. They know it. So these politicians are not designed. So with all this, it is going to lead us to another level. I'm telling you. North is so desperate to make sure that they get back to power. They're so desperate to make sure that they get back to power. Let's go back to Jonathan. Jonathan, is he qualified to return? I've done this broadcast before. Buhari did something in 2018 when APC took Jonathan to court. Said, Jonathan, is he eligible to vote? The court told the APC as at 2022 that this thing that Buhari did that limits the vice from doing more than one term if he takes over the president. For instance, let's assume Buhari and Osinbajo. Buhari said, if for example, if I as Buhari die, and Osinbajo wants to take over from me, Osinbajo will complete my tenure and will have to do only one tenure. That was the law that Buhari passed. But the court told them that, no, this is not applicable to Jonathan. From now on, let us move on. Jonathan would have, if you are saying it is applicable to Jonathan, then Jonathan must have done 8 years. Because before that, before the thing, he was the president. So Jonathan is eligible to run for 4 years. Let's not have that argument anymore. Jonathan is eligible to run. Whether Jonathan will run or not, that is left to him. I have said this before that President Jonathan came out to say that my husband is not running for election. Then after she said what she said, Jonathan now introduced the other wife to the public. Probably if Jonathan is interested to run, then this should be my first lady. That is politics. This one is talking. Let's find a replacement for that one that is saying that Jonathan will not run. All of a sudden, many Nigerians don't know that Jonathan had a wife, blah, blah, blah. It now came, the internet now took it. Jonathan's wife now surfaced on the internet. This may be our next first lady. For me, Jonathan's candidacy is going to be a pure deal breaker. I can bet anything on Jonathan's candidacy. But I know the Tinubu that we know is not willing to listen to you. He not send you. His mind is on the price. And that price is that I want to complete my second tenure. I've told you that even if it takes Nigeria, half of Nigeria enter into the Atlantic Ocean, Tinubu is that desperate to become Nigeria's president 2027. If Jonathan comes out and declares today that I want to run for presidency, I hope the APC will not go after him and his businesses. You see Peter Obi now lamenting in Ikeja, Lagos, that a property his brother is managing, blah, 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 has been done by the government, everything, all have you. I hope the same thing will happen to Jonathan, because even President Jonathan had an issue. Look at Yaya Bello now. Apiko don't talk, say, made them forfeiting properties. Government of the day knows how to press the button left, right, center on their opposition. I'm telling you, see, one thing this government is waiting, they are waiting for ADC to organize themselves. And ADC, they seem to know that as we did now, we know say APC, they watch us. They watch us die. They are waiting to see what we can do. They are waiting to know the next step we are going to take. So we are going to take it easy and confuse them. If not, if they know the constituted, if they know the candidate and the vice president candidate, my brother, they will not launch their attack since. Atiku say go do 1 term. Amici say go do 1 term. Obi say go do 1 term. Confusion left, right, and center. Now they are introducing Jonathan to the mix. That is a school of thought. Now, another political calculation is that we know that there are powers, there are people that doesn't want P2P to have any headway in the election. There are people that P2P, in fact, for him to have a political party, it would be very, we should make sure that he doesn't have a political party that he can run on as a candidate. Number one, APC and ADC, South and North. P2P runs, he divides Tinubu's vote, giving advantage to northern votes. The stronghold of P2P is in the southern part of Nigeria. The stronghold of the coalition is in the northern part of Nigeria. So anybody from southern Nigeria that runs may be a threat to Tinubu's whatever. That is the insinuation. And P2P has that following. He got 4.30 million votes in southern Nigeria alone. P2P has that following. Now, looking at it from this angle, some people believe they are using Jonathan to make sure that P2P becomes irrelevant. They are throwing that Jonathan card to make sure that P2P does not, it is like a desperation. They are so desperate and passionate about it. Let's make sure that P2P does not have any platform to contest. Even if it has to be Jonathan coming into the whole scene and dislodging him and Jonathan running elections. That's another school of thought. People are thinking in that direction. So Jonathan, P2P, who do you think can be able to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? I'm asking you watching me. I want you to put it on the comment section. Who do you think that can be able to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Now, a P2P and El-Rufai is a viable ticket. An Atiku and Obi is a viable ticket. A Jonathan, I don't know, a Jonathan and Ahmedati is a viable ticket. Which of these tickets do you think can remove the APC? Now, this one we are moving from pillar to post, left, right, center. Today now, another topic will come up. What is the aim of the coalition at this point? What does the coalition aim to achieve? with all these their calculations, plus, minus, and shenanigans, I tell you one thing, stopping Tinubu 2027, because they have seen the handwriting on the wall. Northern Nigeria is so desperate at every point in time to make sure that Tinubu does not return as president. His return as president is a threat to northern interest and northern Nigeria, northern politician. We know what the agenda, they call it a Yoruba-led federal government, Yorubanization agenda. We see the appointment into the federal parastatals. We see how agencies and ministries are being headed by the Yorubas. All of a sudden, within 2 years, people are being sacked and being removed, relegated, and a tribal person, Tinubu is playing a tribal card. And northern Nigeria, they are not comfortable with that. So whatever they can do, they will do to make sure that they remove Tinubu come 2027. I'm telling you. Because Tinubu, it is believed, will make them irrelevant. Make them irrelevant. When campaign season starts now, I wonder what... I wonder what the APC will use to campaign against the ADC. I wonder what the ADC will use to campaign against the APC. I wonder, somebody says, if you fix all the roads in Nigeria, politicians will never see anything to use to campaign. Because their mentality is just roads and schools. The quality of education is going down, people are building schools. They'll tell you it's a good thing. We're not saying it's not a good thing. But it is beyond just building a physical block of classrooms. Like I said, if Tinubu entered there, wahala for not. If not entered there, wahala for Tinubu. If they are coming to tell us that this is what we are going to do, what are they going to say? What would they come and convince us, or what are they going to try and tell us that as ADC now, this is what we want to do differently from the APC? How convincing can that be? Or APC come and say, for the past few years, blah, 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 we were able to do this and do that, and this is showing results. Without being arrogant and being propagandists and become liars. What can they even tell anybody at this point in time? My brother, like what Modo said, if the country is not restructured, my brother, people will just form blocks at different points in time and they will seize over power. One thing I fear is a military coup. Because the desperation of northern Nigeria, they can just fine-tune their brothers in the military, activate 1 or 2 persons, and they might take an attempt to capture and abduct the president. However, this is possible because of the desperation for power. And I trust that Tinubu, he would not have to back down. He would not back down for anybody. This is the Tinubu I know. He will not back down for anybody. Now he wants to take control of the assembly. He's doing it before everybody's eyes. All their eyes, all their political gladiators are there. Tinubu is appointing, and doing all he's doing before their eyes. He has his henchmen. He has Wike, judiciary. He has Akpabio, legislature. And you have Bajabia Miller, another of his henchmen that are running the whole thing. Oloyede now is the chief of army staff. Oloyede is the chief of army staff. A certain person is the chief of defense staff. A middle belt person, not certain person. Now we know that middle belt has been neglected by the Northeast and North Central a long time ago. So him giving relevance to the middle belt is another type of politics that this guy is playing to all of them. So like I said I will keep on saying it. If we are not careful, if this current administration does not push for restructuring, there is going to be something that will lead to Nigeria balkanizing. If it doesn't make sure that restructuring is priority. And I believe if he wins that 2027 election, he wants to preserve the Yoruba people and their whatever they have or whatever they have gotten from Nigeria. Okay, you think that all these things that are being built in Lagos State can be taken overnight and put in another state? If Nigeria divides today, they'll still have an advantage, a leverage. Because of years and years and years of getting involved, like in this their development of doing this and that. Now so Dangote, they build for Ogun State. Public-private partnership, PPP, is going on. So Tinubu, if he has to restructure the country, he believes like You know what thing? The Yorubas can stand alone. The Southeast can stand alone with mutual cooperation. But the Fulani cannot stand alone. The Hausas, they will not allow the Hausas rest because they don't want anybody to stand alone in northern Nigeria. We look at the population the other time. Is it not Hausas 75 million? Then Southwest 60-something million. Southeast 60-something million. Fulani 14 million. Tiv and all have you 14 million. So Fulani 14 million now is in charge and taking charge of a country of over 200 million. I've told you that anything that has to do with the Fulani, they deal with Fulani politically. Anytime that one happen, me, I like to be there. We want to be present. We want to be part of the entourage that is running that campaign show. So the reality here is that Jonathan, if you are running the election, is going to be much more tougher. I tell you, it is going to be much more hectic and tougher for the APC. If Jonathan run the election, bam, he might not even need to construct whatever it is. He will just sit down there. He might not even come for campaign or rally. If he can't come for campaign or rally, that one will go worse. So we just sit down there and be watching everything. ADC, people will be on their own. On their own, they will be campaigning for Jonathan. That is what Jonathan presidency represents. Unlike the P2B had people campaigning for him. But the Jonathan own, oh God. Both those that say they left the APC, they left the obedient movement to the APC, they will have to make a rethink, change their mind, and you see the support for Jonathan will be massive. But let's watch and see what transpires, what goes on at the end of the day. It is not by gragra, it is by your political alliance, realignment, your calculation, your statistics, your movement, the facts you have on ground, the actions that you are taking. It is all about that. It's not about whether why did APC lose Lagos despite the fact that obedient movement did not have that structure? Why did they lose Lagos? Because it's not by you are too much. It is by what are the things you are doing at the moment to make sure that anything will not stop you from achieving a particular dream and purpose. As it stands now, if Jonathan comes out for presidency, it is a done deal.